because she wants to make sure this team is a team no matter what. So he knows and he kind of is worried that also he knows the team needs him, but he doesn't know if he needs the team in his life. So, Saw comes back. I was when he comes back when later in the story. He comes back later in the story. When the Avengers are kicking ass, Wanda and Quicksilver, Wanda, also known as Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver decide to help the Avengers to stop the train because they realize that after he kills the Avengers, his plan is world domination because Ultron got his mind read by Scarlet Witch, and she saw the end of the world, and it was horrifying for her. And then they both realized that he's off his fucking rocket, and he doesn't want world peace. He wants world domination. He just doesn't want to admit it to himself until later in the third act when he realized that he decides that he sees that he has involved to advance for world peace. So he just wants world domination and machines to take over in order to keep the peace by replacing humans with machines. And Tony says, "Isn't that not part of the plan? Part of the plan was to protect the human race, wasn't it?" And this is when Ultron and this is when Tony Stark starts to realize what Ultron's saying is exactly what Tony Stark has been thinking, and he can't tell the difference between power and peace. Ruling with iron fist or ruling, he can't tell what's the difference between right or wrong or power hungry or peace. And starting to realize that Tony Stark's starting to realize that Ultron's basically the fucked up version of him. When he gives this look, he realizes that Ultron's really similar to him, but also this polar opposite that's more of the too dark and twisted, messed up and forced stuff of Tony Stark. Which is probably why he loses to the Avengers. And then after, Scarlet Witch points out how Tony's thinking process is too similar to Ultron's thinking process to Captain America after they stop the train. So Captain America sees that Bruce Banner, while Hawkeye's trying contest thrown off and succeeds with Morse code, and she's being held captured by Ultron, and she's getting the location and stuff, blah blah blah, and so I gotta get a glass of water. So this so Banner and Stark are trying to make a good version of Ultron, but they make something that's intelligent, that's not Ultron or Jarvis. Has Jarvis AI built into it. So that is Vision, who after wanting to get heroically saved by Vision, in the third act equals instant love. How she's getting in his eyes, so like he's the only person in the world. So, this is doing the same thing, but it's very brief, barely ever focused on. This like their love relationship in a nutshell. Every time they're on screen together. Like in Age of Ultron, it's you can tell there's friends at all, but by the time Avengers Civil War, Captain America Civil War comes, the capsule of this brother-sister relationship. But by the time Infinity War comes, they're now officially a couple. They went to. I always thought they had more of I can't say the comics. I can clearly see them as a couple, but in the MCU, I always thought they had more of a brother-sister relationship, more than a couple. And so sort of like Han and Luke. Luke and Leia from the original Star Wars trilogy. Or like Anakin Skywalker and or like Anakin Skywalker and his future wife in the prequel trilogy. Well, you know how like the South is a brother-sister relationship. In the first movie, in the first installment trilogy, called Phantom Menace, and the prequel trilogy. But then, as the trilogy went on, but then by the time the sequel came, they became the Office were a couple, and it was kind of weird. As weird as Princess Leia and Luke, and as well as but what tops both those relationships is Vision and Wanda, which you clearly can't buy in that they're a couple at all, because they barely have any screen time with the writing's just that bad. Or it could be the acting when they're forced to pretend like they're a couple. So basically, this is one of those relationships you don't give two craps about, so. Which made Vision's sacrifice in Infinity War completely pointless when he asked Wanda to kill him off to remove the stone to save the world. So yeah. Because I wasn't crying at all, and I didn't cry at all when people got dusted out of existence. Now my favorite MCU character is Spider-Man, because he didn't act like himself. He never made a bad joke. He just went in, did the job while not cracking any jokes. And very consistently enough, barely saying anything, while dressing completely comic book accurate and interesting, like Spider-Man. So yeah, that I can honestly say I think Tom Holland's from Infinity War is Avengers Infinity War is easily the worst project Tom Holland has ever worked on as his run on Spider-Man. He's the same because I love him as his run on Spider-Man. I love Far From Home and Homecoming. Homecoming was way better though. And I'm falling off topic here, I'm sorry about that. So anyway, back to the movie. So the Avengers get this on the farm. The Avengers get this speech by Fury, and Fury says, "Out with the plum bastard." To all the Avengers, and they get their heads together, and they start becoming more close to each other again, and start trust each other. But then that starts distance when Tony and Bruce make Vision. So Captain America's a little pissed off because he can only see how this could go wrong, and Thor helps them bring Vision to life by bringing a bolt of light and charging up Vision. While Captain America and Quicksilver and Wanda, also known as Scarlet Witch, is trying to sabotage the project, but Thor helps by getting a huge juice of lighting. And he admits that he's something else completely that's not Vision or Ultron, Vision says. And so Vision is played really in her, and Vision sees what Ultron's doing is wrong, and he sees what Ultron's intentions are doing, but he also sees how it's wrong, because he sees the answer is not to spread peace among humanity, but to enjoy humanity a lot less and simply observe. And that's where he failed. Ultron did. That was his program flaw. That he couldn't see that it's a privilege to be here and to survive, to live among humanity, because a thing's not beautiful because it lasts for. It's beautiful because it only lasts for a period of time. Vision says. So Vision blasts Ultron because before he does, he clearly said he's not afraid. He's afraid of death and not existing in anywhere parts of the world. Not afraid of Vision, but afraid of death, afraid of not existing. And Ultron's last was saying that Vision's weak. He says he understands, but he doesn't feel like he really does understand, because he sees good in humanity still, and he sees the benefits in humanity. So I'm just gonna say this is my favorite Vision performance. When this guy during his time run as playing Vision, because I feel like he loses his humanity as the films went on, which doesn't make him as relatable or as interesting. So, and same goes for Scarlet Witch. Her best performance is that one of the Olsen twins play in here. Scarlet Witch, that plays Scarlet Witch, gives her best performance in here as this character. And it gradually gets worse because you can see her fake action. At some point her fake Russian action just gets worse and worse. You're not even sure it's supposed to be intentional, and her performance becomes more and more artificial. I feel like, and not as natural or as real. But and that's pretty much it for the Avengers. And the guy who plays Ultron kicked ass in this performance. I forget what his name is, but I think it's my favorite role that he's ever done. And because he makes Ultron not just funny like Tony Stark, but he also makes him as intimidating as he is in the comics. This is how he talks and how he carries himself. Sort of like Tom Hardy's Bane, except way cooler. Which I'm just going to say and that's a huge compliment for me, because I think Tom Hardy's Bane is the strongest villain in the Dark Knight trilogy, while Heath Ledger's just the opposite. He's the weakest, lamest, dumbass villain in the Dark Knight trilogy, and you can't buy that guy's actually violent, nor you can buy him actually an irrational person. Just because he makes bad decisions doesn't mean you're insane. It means you can be a terrorist, but does that make you an insane terrorist? Definitely no. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. And, so anyway, the Avengers team up, along with Vision, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch, and they'll gear up and suit up, and they're ready to save the world, and save the rest of what's left of Sokovia. When Ultron lifts Sokovia in the Infinity, it's up to the Avengers to defend and defend and save as many civilians as possible, and his lives as possible. You know, all that cool stuff, while kicking as much serious ass as possible as a team. And Captain America giving some pretty good. This is the only. I'm just gonna say this is the only time Captain America gives up head time that as Chris Evans run on Captain America throughout any movie that gives a actual good pep talk that doesn't feel like he's reading off of the most depressing cue cards ever. He gives his pep talk right before they're ready to head into battle. It says that Ultron thinks he's monster. He says maybe we're right, or maybe he's wrong. So let's prove to him. So let's do our best to prove to him that he's wrong, that we're not monsters. So, and Thor goes to back up Tony, and he comes up with a diversion because he's running out and tells Vision he's running out of things to say. So Vision swings the hand, picks up holds the hammer and swings it at Ultron's head. And this is actually kind of this is interesting because Vision is clearly 100% robot. He is actually has a good enough spirit, a good enough soul, and pure enough that he can actually live Mjolnir. Just like Captain America that we see in Endgame, and we see a brief moment of here, but he clearly was just not trying to show off to make his friends look bad. Because you can clearly see, okay, I saw you move the hammer, and then he moved, and then he let go of it, and he says, so I gave this look, oh, like shit, he actually can do it. And then he slips into nothing. And I love how like comes back in the Endgame, how he actually says, Thor says, I knew it, he could lift the hammer. He gets that look, and while he's kicking head on Thanos' ass with Thor's hammer. And yeah. So, Thor is really good in this also, and so is Black Widow, and Bruce Banner character also very good besides the Hulk. And also, you feel like the Hulk has a bit of a character arc also because he is nearly an extension of Bruce Banner's personality that's more childish and immature and has more of a short temper, it feels like, and therefore you feel like you understand where Hulk comes from when Black Widow says go be a hero after she tricks Bruce Banner to turn into the Hulk after she kisses him, says she adores him, and then she pushes him over a cliff and shows that she needs the other guy. So so Hulk jumps on a bunch of rocks and so Bruce's Black Widow looks like she strains her back and stuff, and she says, I hope this makes sense, now go be a hero, she says to the Hulk, and Hulk goes to team up with the rest of the Avengers, Thor, Iron Man, and Vision, and Black Widow goes to back up to try to defeat Ultron, and Black Widow takes this giant truck over, a bunch of Ultron bots. And I love the line when Tony says the funniest thing he ever has said on his run as Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. He says to Romanoff, Black Widow, ultimately Black Widow, says her and Bruce Banner may not be playing hide the zucchini and doing it while they're in the middle of getting their asses whooped. So it's very funny. It's the time he's talking about the stuff is very funny. And she says and she over response says, relax, not all of us can fly. I'm on my way. And she says, and she's just driving his shoes out of the van. And then Quicksilver shows up after Captain America shows up, and Scarlet Witch shows up with Quicksilver at the same time. So, and then and Tony Stark says here's the plan. We have to defend this bomb and prevent Ultron from touching it. And okay, and they said, okay, that sounds easy. But the guy in the slug is like, that sounds easier than set. I think Captain would give the all giving the slug, okay, that sounds like a good plan. So it's basically a bomb, and they have to prevent Ultron from setting it off, the bomb, to blow up the rest of Sokovia. So the kick and they pretty much destroy a bunch of Ultron bots, and then the Avengers face Ultrons, and Thor develop his ego gets in the way, and he says, "Is that the best you got, Ultron?" So he says Ultron, and then a bunch of millions upon millions upon billions of Ultron robots come where the Avengers are, and all circling all around the Avengers. And Ultron gives a speech, says, "This is the best I got. How are you going to how are you going to go against all of me, against only very few of you? How are you going to win?" And want to know what Tony says? He said to Captain America, Tony Stark says what Captain America said to Tony Stark early in the movie of how to succeed and how to lose is together as a team. So Tony Stark has his face rebuilt, and he says, just as the old man said, which is Captain America says, together in this epic showdown against the Avengers and Ultron bots, and Ultron in the big baddie Ultron. And the music starts hitting, the Avengers theme starts hitting, and it kicks ass. And so they destroy all the Ultron bots, and they start Blast and Vision and Iron Man and Thor gain up on Ultron and start beating the crap out of him. And then Hulk beats the shit out of Ultron just to shut him up. And after Ultron almost killed Black Widow, Hulk wanted payback by beating the crap out of Ultron. And he does, and it's kind of funny. And sadly, the Hulk saved the Black Widow by getting her to safety. However, Clint Barton, also known as Hawkeye, saw a friend of his die while he was trying to save a little kid. So he shielded the kid, then Quicksilver shielded Clint Barton from getting shot to death. And I like how Quicksilver delivers that line, played by the actor who played Kick-Ass in the first two Kick-Ass movies, were awesome. He delivers this line, "You didn't see that coming, did you?" And he just collapses. I love how he delivers that line and says, "You didn't see that coming," which is the same thing he said when him and Hawkeye first met, when he got the drop on Hawkeye in the opening scene. So it's now coming full circle, their relationship. So, as well, the Avengers relationship in the 3-act structure of the film. So Wanda has a bit of a psychotic outburst, a bit of an outburst, because she finds out, she sees that her big brother died. So she has a violent outburst and just kills Ultron by ripping out his metal hide and crushing it. While the whole Sokovia is falling, let me explain though. So the Avengers had to get everyone else on the SHIELD helicopter. That was, and the one who scheduled that SHIELD helicopter was Nick Fury, the leader of SHIELD, and he became the Avengers' backup when in the best time possible, because the Avengers members Captain America and Black Widow have this heart-to-heart conversations, basically saying, you know, it's not bad dying as long as you're among friends. And basically, Black Widow says that in a saying, though, also worse ways to die than being among friends. And plus, where am I ever going to get a beautiful view like this in the sky? And then and it's really emotional in that scene. And but Fury comes to save the day by lifting, because by getting everyone on the individuals get everyone on a shield helicarrier, but in the nick of time, every civilian that we know of, and the Avengers member and it says breaks the news they can't hold the Sokovia, and it's going to collapse on the ground anyway. So it looks like we're not going to win this time, Avengers. So that's when the hot conversation of Captain and Black Widow come, and then Nick Fury comes to save the day, and then after all the Avengers members get on the shield helicarrier and the civilians, the Hulk half of Bruce Banner breaks up with Black Widow by just hanging up on her. And after Black Widow was trying to ask Hulk to calm down for her. So Hulk just hangs up on her, and Hulk is in the Quinjet going, I don't know where, we don't know where he's going until right now that's where he ended up, was the Quinjet. And so Black Widow's really heartbroken about it, and the meet was supposed to be the Avengers, which is now which was supposed to be the Avengers and newcomers, which is only Falcon, who we didn't saw in this, who barely had any character development, but was fun to watch and wasn't completely annoying like he usually is. He was actually likable and funny instead of just annoying and likable, by making really unfunny jokes that just annoy the hell out of you, like Pauly Shore. And I like the conversation that Black Widow had with Nick Fury, saying that nothing ever lasts forever, and trouble lasts forever. Nick Fury says trouble. You know, always count on trouble to last forever, and that blames Black Widow's spirit, saying something lasts forever, but not everything. So we don't know if they're going to get back together or not. We still don't know in later films, or because they don't even touch on them. But we want to touch on Scarlet Witch and Vision's bland relationship, who's just as bland, who's just as cute as couple as Bella and that vampire guy Robert Pattinson, who name I forget, remember the Twilight series, except less interesting than those two, which were the blandest couple until Vision and Wanda came along, also known as Scarlet Witch. So it ends on them with them going to start a training session, was the Avengers, and Captain America delivers this line, "Avengers," and credits roll. Which she was going to say Avengers Assembly, couldn't tell. But it was DC. Unfortunately, the director, CEO and director of this film didn't want that to happen and discussed it, but I'm not happy because the journey of the Avengers is not over. And then Endgame comes and so in other words, they're going to do that every so often, otherwise, I'm guessing. Wow. I really wish the Avengers Assemble catchphrase was really in here. But You know, I was going to give this a 10 out of 10, but because this gave me such a slap in the face, I'm going to have to bump it down a notch. And I was going to give this a 7 out of 10 until I realized how much fun I was having while reviewing it. So it's going to go somewhere in between. It's going to be going a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I want you to guess. Time's up. It is a 8 out of 10. It lands somewhere between awesome and average. So somewhere between awesome and average. It's above average or way above it. It's not average, but it's not awesome. Somewhere in between of those. I don't know what that word is. But it's definitely one of the best Avengers film we're ever going to get in live action anytime soon. And it is it's every bit as emotional. It's to me, this is as emotional as the movie Logan, which is Hugh Jackman's last time.